Imagine a world where water is as rare as a unicorn at a dog show. It's a dry spell of epic proportions. The rivers? Gone. The lakes? Evaporated. The oceans? Just a salty memory. Buckle up because this is going to be one wild, waterless ride. It's a terrifying thought experiment about the importance of water. Water is the lifeblood of our planet. It's in every breath we take, every drop we drink. Without it, our world would change overnight, and not for the better. The blue planet, our home, would transform into a barren, unrecognizable wasteland. The disappearance of water would trigger a chain reaction of catastrophic events. From the smallest insect to the largest whale, all life forms would face an unprecedented struggle for survival. The lush green landscapes we know would wither and die, painting a picture of desolation across the globe. Let's delve into this hypothetical yet critical scenario to truly understand the magnitude of what water means to our planet and to us. The human body is about 60% water. Without water, humanity is in hot water. Thirsty? You bet. We need water to drink, to clean, to grow our food. Imagine the panic as taps run dry. Bottled water disappears from shelves. Every sip becomes precious, a matter of life and death. Within days, dehydration would set in. Weakness, dizziness, confusion, these would become the norm. Hospitals, overwhelmed with the dehydrated and the dying, would struggle to cope. The very fabric of our society, dependent on water for sanitation and healthcare, would begin to unravel. The desperation for this basic necessity would lead to chaos and conflict. Water riots would erupt as people fight for the last remaining drops. Governments would struggle to maintain order in a world gripped by thirst and despair. Our cities would turn into ghost towns faster than you can say H2O no. It underscores the absolute dependence of our species on this precious resource. We humans aren't the only ones who need water. Every plant, every animal, relies on it for survival. Without water, forests would become tinderboxes, waiting for a spark to ignite. Wildfires would rage across continents, turning once vibrant ecosystems into charred wastelands. Animals that rely on rivers and lakes for drinking water would perish. Fish would suffocate as their watery homes disappear. Birds would be left without sources of water for drinking or cooling. The intricate web of life would begin to collapse, with each loss sending shockwaves through the ecosystem. From the tiniest insects to the largest mammals, a silent extinction would sweep across the planet. The symphony of nature, once filled with the sounds of life, would be replaced by an eerie silence, a testament to the devastating power of water loss. The disappearance of entire species would not just be a tragedy, but a stark warning. It would underline the interconnectedness of all life on Earth and the vital role water plays in maintaining this delicate balance. Plants and animals would be in a pickle without water. Imagine a world where cacti are the new roses. It's a dry, dry world out there. The environment would be in a real drought of luck. Forests would become deserts, and deserts would become, well, even more deserty. It's a catastrophe of biblical proportions. Without water to evaporate, clouds wouldn't form, rain would cease. The land, starved of moisture, would bake under the relentless sun. Temperatures would soar, turning fertile fields into deserts. The air, once cleansed by rainfall, would become thick with dust and pollutants. The Earth's climate, delicately balanced for millennia, would spiral into chaos. Extreme weather events, heat waves, dust storms, wildfires, would become the norm. The once hospitable planet would transform into a hostile and unforgiving environment. The consequences of a broken water cycle would be felt globally. It would be a stark reminder that our planet is not a collection of isolated systems, but a complex web of interconnected processes, with water at its heart. Section 5. A world without green, the end of agriculture. Agriculture would be toast without water. No water, no crops, no food. It's a recipe for disaster. Crops, starved of water, would wither and die in the fields. Farmers would watch helplessly as their livelihoods vanish, their fields transformed into dust bowls. The global food supply chain, already under strain, would collapse entirely. Supermarkets, once overflowing with produce from every corner of the globe, would have their shelves bare. Fresh fruit, vegetables, grains, all would become luxuries of the past. Food prices would skyrocket, leaving millions vulnerable to hunger and starvation. The disappearance of water would expose the fragility of our food systems. it would highlight the precarious dependence of billions on a resource often taken for granted. The fight for food would become as desperate as the fight for water, further pushing societies to the brink of collapse. The end of agriculture would not just be an economic disaster but a humanitarian crisis of unimaginable proportions. It would underscore the fundamental role of water in sustaining human life on Earth. Section 6. Powerless in a waterless world. Without water, we'd be powerless. Literally. Hydroelectric power? More like hydro-no-electric power. It's a dark, dry future. Thermoelectric power plants, which use vast amounts of water for cooling, would be forced to shut down. Cities, once brightly lit, would plunge into darkness. Homes would be without light, heat, or refrigeration. Hospitals reliant on electricity for life-saving equipment would face impossible choices. The modern world, so dependent on a constant supply of power, would grind to a halt. The lack of electricity would cripple communication systems, transportation networks, and essential services. It would be a stark reminder of our reliance on a resource often invisible in its contribution to our daily lives. The sudden loss of power would expose the vulnerability of our interconnected world, leaving us grappling in the dark. A world without electricity is a world without the conveniences we often take for granted. It's a world where survival, not comfort, becomes the primary concern. Section 7. From blue to barren, Earth's transformation. Without water, our blue planet would become unrecognizable. The vibrant tapestry of life, the lush forests, the fertile plains, the teeming oceans, would be replaced by a monotonous brown. Dust storms would rage across continents, reshaping the very landscape. The Earth's once teeming oceans would become vast, desolate salt flats. The seabeds, once home to a kaleidoscope of marine life, would be exposed to the unforgiving sun. The air, thick with dust and sand, would be difficult to breathe. The planet's average temperature would soar, making large parts of the Earth uninhabitable. Earth would transform into a barren wasteland. Think Mars, but without the cool rovers. It's a dry new world. The transformation of our planet would be a sobering reminder of the delicate balance that makes life possible. It would underscore the importance of cherishing and protecting our most precious resource, water. Section 8. A plea for the blue planet. Water is life, and without it, we're in deep trouble. But hey, let's not get too down. After all, every cloud has a silver lining, even if it's not raining. It highlights the interconnectedness of all living things and the delicate balance that sustains life on Earth. We are fortunate to live on a planet where water is abundant, but this abundance shouldn't be mistaken for invincibility. Climate change, pollution, and overuse threaten this precious resource, putting our future at risk. It's time we recognize the true value of water. It's time we act responsibly, conserving water wherever we can, reducing pollution, and combating climate change. The fate of our planet and our own survival depends on it. Let's not wait for the day when our taps run dry to realize the true cost of indifference. Let's act now, while we still have time, to protect our blue planet, our only home. Thank you for watching, and please do like and subscribe.